Well, if you got a dollar, well, just lousy down. You know that I got rhythm that could suit your budget fine. You can take or leave me, but you ain't got much time, 'cause I just keep on rolling down the line.
Hi, this is Patrick with Trusty Huckster Mercantile. If this is your first time to this channel, welcome. Trusty Huckster Mercantile is a vintage reseller. I specialize in glass, porcelain, pottery, decorative objects, all which I sell through my Etsy store, TH Mercantile. You can also find me on Instagram, Facebook, and as you already have, YouTube. This is a slightly different video than I've done in the past. Like many people who have been experiencing the current pandemic, I've been locked in a house, and I will continue to be locked into this house for another 4 weeks because Illinois is still under a stay-at-home order through the end of May. Because I can't source new material, I've been going online to find items that I can purchase, typically for my own collection, but in some cases to resell, primarily through Etsy, which is my platform, but also drifting into eBay, getting a little bit more familiar with that. The idea for this video effectively came about because one of the purchases which I had made ended up showing up in a padded envelope. The purchase itself was a porcelain mug from 1964, manufactured by Lilien Porzellan. Lilien Porzellan began making porcelain under that name in the 60s, and this item had a date stamp which marked it as the first generation of stamps from that manufacturing. I did not have anything with that date stamp in my collection, so I was super excited to find this. It was at a wonderful price. Unfortunately for them, the seller did not really know what they had. This research is all publicly available, so in some cases that happens. People don't do the research, you don't get as much for your product. Regardless, when I purchased it with priority mail shipping, and which luckily is insured, and awaited the delivery. And when it showed up, I was horrified to discover it was shipped in a padded envelope. Now, to give them somewhat credit, in the envelope was also a box, a very thin box, not a typical shipping box. Unfortunately, the box that they utilized was too small for the mug, and you can see somewhat what they did. This mug was set into the box and then taped across the top, and the handle was running along the surface of the box. So this box, sitting in this padded envelope, resulted in this. For future reference, that is a Lilien Porzellan date stamp from the first generation in the brown color. They only did this stamp in brown. After 2 or 3 years, they switched over to green. So this is, I'm not going to necessarily say rare, but in the family of date stamps for their product line, it's rare. So I didn't have that date stamp in my collection, and I still don't. But what it basically triggered in me was this reaction that I take great pride in what I do with Trusty Huckster Mercantile. It's a brand that I'm trying to build and establish with my sales on Etsy. I package my material exceptionally well. I'm not going to say I haven't had something break in transit. It does happen, but in some cases when it's happened, it's because someone had to try to break it, because I did everything I could humanly do to protect it, but accidents do happen. This wasn't even trying, and I paid for the freight. And so I found it, as a buyer, I found it insulting that I paid for you to ship this to me, and this was the quality of shipping that you did. To add insult to injury, this took place about 3 days ago. I have yet to receive any notification of whether I will be receiving a refund. The seller simply said, I will check with the post office and get back with you. That is very poor customer service. But regardless, I purchased other items, and shortly after this happened, I ended up getting another shipment which had multiple pieces of porcelain in it, and I chose to do this unboxing video. So what you're about to see is effectively a live recording of my unboxing this video, or unboxing this shipment. I did not know how it was packaged. I knew what was in it because I knew where it came from, but you will discover along with me what happened to this shipment. As I did the play-by-play, I discovered I found it somewhat interesting to effectively, not that I am in a position of knowledge, but from the position of a buyer, to comment on how well or poorly something is packaged. So this may become a series. This might become a standalone. I have several other orders that I'm waiting to arrive. But I hope you'll enjoy the video. See what happens with this shipment. We already have a bad start. This is how I received this from the U.S. Postal Service. This was in our lockbox in my subdivision, and I find it ironic that the damage is in the corner that specifically has the fragile "do not drop." Summary of my bill with a nice note. Thank you, Patrick, from Debbie. Card for the business owner, which I won't show just in case this ends up going poorly. And we've got popcorn everywhere. All right, so the first piece looks like we may be in luck. This was kind of sitting on the top diagonally, which is good because that's where it has the most strength going corner to corner, although that's exactly where it got dropped, so you never know. Rules of thumb are meant to be broken. Really nicely padded because this bowl has angles on the end, so this is actually a really nice job of wrapping. So it had an extra layer of bubble wrap specifically around those edges, and then the whole thing was wrapped by another layer of bubble wrap. So untuck that layer, and we have a pristine bowl from Royal Winton. So it looks really nice. Looks like it's got the inventory number on there that wasn't in the photographs. I'm assuming that was something she does. She marks her pieces with her inventory number directly on them. I do the same thing. I typically wrap them first and then mark the paper. So, okay, one piece survived. Let's go further. All right, this is sitting more closer to the bottom. Looks like it's very nicely wrapped. I will say I am not a fan of using packing tape, or she used Scotch tape because it's hard to see against the plastic. I actually use masking tape or painter's tape, whatever I have available. Probably ends up costing me a few extra pennies, but I find it's easier than to take it off because it's very easy to see where it has been attached. There have been times that I've tried to open a package and I feel like I'm going to break it simply in the process of trying to untape it. So it looks like multiple layers of bubble wrap around this. Make the rounds. Okay, so this one is the glass ashtray, or glass dish, more likely. I don't actually think it was designed as an ashtray because there's no actual ridges to put the cigarettes, just a scallop trim. And it has a piece that's exposed on the top. It's got a figural piece that I wanted to add to my flower frog collection, and it looks like she's done a really nice job packing that separately and then wrapping around that. So that's really good. Okay. This is a case where it's hard to open and I don't want to snap that little figurine off the top. All right, got the tape off so it's unraveled. All right, and it survived in pristine condition, just like the photographs, again with her inventory number on there. And that was a nice little add-on that, because I was already paying for the shipping to get it here, this ended up not costing all that much money, and I thought it'd be a nice little addition to my figural flower frog collection. Not technically a flower frog, but I think it'll still look nice. So that's a keeper. That's for me. All right, now for the main reason I bought from her. Let's find the other 3 pieces. Okay. For starters, I'm nervous, but she's packed very well, so hopefully it's not an issue. But one of the things that she's done is she has wrapped one, this is actually 2 tumblers. She's tucked one tumbler into the other tumbler and then wrapped them. I've received more damaged pieces from things being packed in that way. And in my opinion, I have no facts to back this up, but in my opinion, I believe it's a case that then if anything were to happen to the box and this flexed in any way or got compressed in any way, this top glass or this top tumbler has nowhere to go except into this tumbler, and this tumbler won't be able to handle the pressure and it will crack. So I have had a tea canister with the lid that broke off that way. I had another set of glassware that one of the glasses broke that way. In each case, it was because they were packaged like this. Now, in each case, neither of them were packaged this nicely with this much bubble wrap. So, and I can kind of see them, so I think we're gonna be okay, but let me open it up. All right, moment of truth. Okay, well, she did actually do something a little bit differently. She did bubble wrap the piece that sat inside. So if there were pressure put onto this, there's a little bit of protection from the bubble wrap to protect that. And it appears the bottom piece survived completely intact. Fantastic. So that is a piece of Lilien Porzellan. It's part of the Blumen band, which is not as common as the Alpenflora design. And this is a case where when I purchased it, I did not know what the bottom stamp was. So it's good to see what the bottom stamp is. So it's an older piece, but it's not the oldest. But that's a nice add. And then here's the other piece that, again, packaged really nicely. Same bottom stamp, so possibly they're a pair. Perfect condition, rubbing my hand around it, not feeling any fantastic packing. So that was the 2 tumblers. Now the final piece, very nicely nestled down in the bottom and very conveniently away from the corner that got crushed. It has a handle protruding on it. I can feel she's got extra padding on the handle. We have a survivor. Perfect condition, just like the photographs. Feels like some residue on the top, but that's coming off, so it must have been sticker or tape at some point. This was the stamp that was on her post, so I knew that, again, this is not the oldest, but I knew exactly what stamp this was, and it's near the beginning of the line. So this is an older piece, and again, a really nice addition. This is actually a Glühwein pitcher, so a mulled wine pitcher, and that shape is, again, from one of the earlier era of Lilien Porzellan, and they did a lot with this shape, but this band design is not as common. So really happy to have that. Actually going to mix and match some of my collection and probably reselling some of them, but really looking at back stamps at this point and trying to get the best collection. Happy endings. So everything survived, everything was in perfect condition, and the seller, I'm sorry, just completely outdid herself in the way it was packaged, making sure that that shipment, which wasn't particularly valuable, it wasn't that much more valuable than what I had paid for the mug that was shattered. She took the care to give me a good packaging so that I got my shipment in good order, everything in one piece, and it will definitely be a shop that I'll want to purchase again. So the shop itself is called Cottage Creek Antiques. I found them through Etsy, so they do have an Etsy shop you can find under that name. The materials that they sell is actually very reminiscent of what I carry through Trusty Huckster Mercantile, which is why I could find so many pieces that I wanted to acquire for my own collection. Support those vendors that take the time to treat their customers well. We'll see if this ends up being another video. If there are any other videos with these other shipments that I've got coming, I might record them, and if there's nothing notable, might not post it, or I might wait and string a couple of them together to turn it into something somewhat interesting. But let me know what you think of this type of video, and if you'd like to see more. Because I'm going to be on a stay-at-home order for another 4 weeks, I may be doing some more online ordering. And again, if you've gotten to this point to this video and you're not a subscriber, please subscribe. I'd appreciate it. It does help my channel, gets me a little bit more visibility, and gives me a better understanding of the people that are watching my videos, what they might be looking for. And related to that, tell me what you're looking for. Do you want videos on a specific topic? Do you like glass product videos better than porcelain? Whatever the case may be, throw some comments in there. Give me some ideas of how to build my shop, how to improve my brand, and how to provide the best service to what hopefully will be one of my customers. So again, this is Patrick with Trusty Huckster Mercantile. Thank you so much for your time. Bye-bye.
Sure was nice to know you. Oh, maybe I'll catch you on the New York train. Or maybe I'll never see your face again.